Alright guys, vocalize.
Welcome to the acapella group.
This is what you're missing, Max.
Yeah, this is what happens when he's not around.
Yeah, Matt's not around again, so we decided to quit our jobs. We're now gonna be an a cappella group. We're called UP AME After
So crazy.
This is what happens when we don't have supervision.
So,
Hi guys, welcome to AME After Hours. So, we're back again for this week. This is Moen.
This is Panan.
Anton.
this is Stephen.
Hi, I'm Ivy. I'm new here.
And we also have a guest from our PopCom.
Introduce yourself.
From the publicity committee. Hi, my name is Hans.
Alright.
Yeah.
Good day, Hans. So,
Hello.
she'll be joining us for our topic today, which is
Commissioning artists.
and basically issues surrounding the
Surrounding
artists,
the
the
artists.
yeah, specifically for anime.
Anime artists.
Anime artists.
So, have you guys been to any cons lately?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I haven't been to one in a really long time.
Let me talk about. I've been to. It's not a con. It's an event. It's called Hypnosis Underground. It was fun.
Hypnosis?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
It's one of the first R18 cafes.
It's an R8. It's not a cafe. It's an R18 bar event.
It's a bar.
There was alcohol.
Yeah,
It was so much fun.
Wait, this is a weeb event?
Yeah,
Yes,
for the fandom.
For a fandom. It's
For what fandom?
Hypnosis microphone.
What?
Oh, you want to know what?
I'm
You
not-
want to know what Hypmic is? Pulls up PowerPoint.
Nah,
Basically,
basic,
it's some
It's
guys
guys
battling
rapping.
it's rapping. It's
They're battling for territory.
battling for territory using rap. It's so good. It's
so
so
good.
good.
I love rap.
I
Yeah,
love rap. I love
It's
rap.
nice because it's not an anime.
Yeah. It's,
Oh, what do you mean?
it's
Like
songs.
it's songs.
Album.
Oh, so it's like a
Vocalize.
yeah, vocalized
The
story.
difference is it's all one story, unlike Vocaloid.
There's a lore and
There's
everything.
a lot.
It's nice.
But there's a manga
Wait,
now.
there's a story in Mike,
Yep.
There's a story in the
Very-
and they tell it through raps or something, so like ciphers or something. They pass.
So it's kind of like Kagero project, except with rap.
Ah,
Multimedia though.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Alright, but it's not like user generated content.
No, there's voice
No,
actors.
yeah, and it's
And they have live events too where the voice actors do rap battles.
they battle each
They
other.
battle each other live.
So they diss each other.
Yeah.
So nice.
And then there's they have a Nico live stream sometimes. They rap on the spot depending on the topic submitted by the viewers.
So they're really talented.
They're really
So
talented.
in this con,
Or event.
event.
That was here, like where?
It was in one cafe and events place in I forgot where it was.
In the
Wait,
Philippines.
Manila.
It's in Ortigas.
Was it like an official
Yeah. No, it was
fan.
It was
FanCon?
fan.
because you know the recent pop-up cafes
Yeah.
of every type of fandom out there.
I can also talk about that, but let's
So-
take
Iba yan.
It's
So,
amazing because it's
did you guys find any artists there?
yeah, they had artist booths as well.
Did you guys get some goods?
We have fun goods, huh?
Yeah, you got some.
I got prints of the cosplayers who cosplayed the Hype My characters. I love them.
How about you, Ivy? Get anything?
For my reason, I didn't actually go, but
Oh,
I
you didn't go.
because of course.
You wish you were. You wish you were.
You wish you were.
I'm not actually still in the fandom. I'm just really
Oh.
excited about the series. It's so nice. It's very hard to get.
Stand my trigger crew. Hey.
No, Buster.
You guys heard it here. This is just only the start.
Yeah, it's not the start. So, well,
It's inevitable.
yeah, we're gonna fangirl. So, well, the last con I've been to was, I think, Cosmania.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone went there, it was okay. It's Cosmania. It's the usual con scene.
Yeah.
You go, you buy a ticket, you meet friends.
Friends.
Quote unquote.
Quotation mark.
You buy art. You buy art. So, speaking of buying art,
Wait, buying art? What do you mean? Art should be free.
Whoa.
You wanna get kicked out?
You want to rap battle to this?
yeah, you want to
You want to rap battle?
Why should I pay someone? They just drew on paper.
So easy. Okay, so we already, talked about the main.
We basically presented our
Great
topic.
intro, right?
Great intro, guys. So
We're gonna talk about commissioning artists and how there's like a perception that art should be free because people are stupid.
Whoa, they're at home in Emirates.
Whoa there.
Hold up.
No, because people think they're entitled to it.
And people
Yeah.
think art is easy.
So it's very common right now, anywhere, Facebook or Twitter, you see artists getting mad about people asking them for free art.
And then those people getting mad for not getting
for
free
not
art.
So it's a prominent
Sorry, but
Issue.
I'm an influencer. Sayang, I could have.
Oh, I can give you some exposure.
Shout out.
Shout out. Shout out po sana kita. So basically, that's the
yeah.
topic for our
Exposure doesn't pay rent,
podcast.
sis.
Here we have an artist here. Hans, have you done? Yeah,
Yay!
Not just an artist, but an artist who does sell things. So
we don't talk about that artist.
So-
Hansel, have you gone to cons and done art there, participated in art booths, got some commissions?
I think the nice things about conventions is that first of all, you have this community of artists helping you, especially when it comes to pricing. For example, they tell you, oh, I think maybe I should just give my art for 50. I don't think it's that good. And then your artist friend will tell you, no, it's worth so much more than that. Raise the price up. You deserve it. Your art deserves love and cash.
Community.
So
Preach it.
your art deserves more. So when I was first starting out, actually just last year, that was a big eye opener to me, and I think it really influenced me so much when it comes to pricing. As for commissioning art itself, personally, I don't like to commission art during cons because for one thing, my table is full and it keeps shaking all the time, and I'm not confident that it would be stable, especially since I'm very particular about line art. But I do know some friends who do art commissions, and actually I'm proud to say that they actually do get a lot from art commissions. So it means to say that there is a community of people that support these artists.
In that case, I have a question. So how do artists generally price their commissions?
Actually, because it depends on each person. But from what I know, if they're doing foreign commissions, they price it higher because hey guys, we're a third world country, and what's expensive to us is cheap to you. So that's one part.
And
And
also
generally,
you
yeah. So
And also you have to have
Yeah.
another mode of payment because it's online.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
PayPal. Yeah, PayPal.
Yeah, PayPal often always gets
Or coffee.
How about you? If you were to commission, let's say, what would you base your price on?
Depends
Art
on-
scales, effort, materials used, time.
Personally, for me, I use a standard price. For example, if it's just a sketch, usually I just do 30 to 50 because I understand not everyone can afford it. Because there's sort of conflicting feelings about sketching. Because on one hand, you know that your art is worth this, but on the other hand, you know that the person in front of you is a student who can't really afford much. So
Yeah.
there's this sort of conflicting feelings, especially personally for me because I'm just starting. I'm just working. I'm just developing my art.
Let her plug
Yeah, we'll let you plug later. We'll even add your
But yeah.
details.
details.
But personally, yeah, I think I price it pretty cheap, and I do know friends who price it pretty cheap.
Yeah.
And I do know established artists or super popular Tumblr, who when they commission they price it pretty cheap in cons.
Cheap or fair? Which one?
I think it's cheap.
It's cheap.
Still,
Because-
still lower than what it should.
Imagine because that in foreign commissions they get 1,000 plus. And then-
Pesos? Pesos?
Yeah, pesos.
Ooh,
But then
$1,000.
for in cons, they only offer 300.
Yeah, 300 is
Yeah,
actually the
300
usual
is
price for
the usual price.
That's
So
already
that's-
colored.
That's local
Yeah.
price versus
Yeah, very international.
foreign price.
Yeah.
So,
It
I
really depends. Sometimes sometimes, yeah, I think my artist friends also consider like how much the table cost is for the con, like how much will they pay. Then they compute. So what's an okay price for their art?
So you can gain some kind of
Yeah.
profit.
Yeah, so at least a profit or break even depends on the person.
I know, personally for me, the term profit is actually quite relative because for one thing, all your profit just goes to making more merch and getting more tables. So
Subsistence.
what profit? And the funny thing is, like, whatever profit you get, you just use it to buy other artists' merch. So
What if you're also a weeb?
yeah,
that's right.
what if you're also a fan? You don't earn anything. You like either you just invest it in making more merch, or just buy other people's merch.
Yeah,
So,
that's
Makes sense.
So like most artists in that case don't generally do art or do commissions for profit.
full time.
They just enjoy their craft.
well, I
So-
can't
so-
speak for like.
How about you personally, so that we can have an actual answer?
Personally, for me, it just my favorite type of commission are redraw commissions, where they show their OCs and then I redraw it.
Oh.
It just makes me so happy when the client, I don't know, like the client just looks up you and says, "Oh, this is my OC, it's so pretty." So that sort of thing. And then I always tell them, "Oh, it's okay. Like just keep practicing, and you'll be able to draw your OC better." So that sort of thing makes me happy.
That's nice.
Okay, regarding in prices again, so there's also this issue where let's say you put your personal and business interests together, right? And then let's say I'm a friend of yours and I'd say, Ads, pwede naman pa commission dyan. Discount naman oh.
Oh yeah, the friend discount.
Yeah, what do you think about
Oh
that?
my god. Have you experienced that?
I have the old generation.
I see.
The titas
yeah.
and titos.
Ah,
Those are the ones that are
Can
quite.
you draw me?
Can you draw
Can you
me
draw?
for free?
No, the one I read, the one that tried to like make me do artwork was more of like, I'm sorry, but it was more of like a layout problem because for her business. And personally, if it wasn't too much of like a problem, or it wasn't too much work because I was fast with Photoshop. But if it was like too much work, I always feel compelled that, hey, sorry, well, I don't have time. The usual. Because, yeah, once again, there's a boundary between, there's sort of like personal thing, and then there's again that filial thing. But I guess, once again, in the Filipino context, they're gonna say, pamilya naman yan, and
Your
they,
family support
and
each
yeah,
other.
in a
But
way.
isn't family supposed to support you?
Yeah.
So again, so many conflicting factors here. and
so
it's
for you,
fun.
you're torn between
Sorry, I'm sorry.
torn between just letting them get the benefits of being your relative or close friend versus being professional about it, or because
getting compensation.
it is something. Yeah, it can be your livelihood.
Yeah,
Like,
it could.
I mean, like,
especially for those artists na yun nga talaga yung work nila. And,
But I had a friend that offered me a discount, and then I refused because
said, "You deserve more."
Yeah, exactly. You deserve more.
Yeah, I
Please
had an
don't.
experience. One con artist priced her commission too cheap. For me, personally, it was too cheap for
Kasi
something that
lower.
good. So
Yeah.
like, I offered, ate, dagdagan ko na lang po. It's so good.
sometimes
And
you
like, she was so flustered. She didn't want the tip. And I feel so guilty, ate, Diliman. You deserve more. Please let me support your art because it's so good.
There are other two types of
types
one
of
to give you
people.
more money and one less.
I think that's because I think there are people that understand that are the artists to like devote a lot of time to it. Like if they draw every day. I know this because my sister is taking animation and she literally draws every day. She doesn't talk to me anymore. Like, what are you doing? I'm drawing. I'm drawing. But the thing is, I understand because I can also be busy at times. But yeah, and then there are the other people that just because you make it look so easy, they think it's easy. So that's because because you're already so good at it, and for you lines are just squiggly lines, right? It's just so simple for you now that they think it looks easy, but they try to fix it up and they realize it won't happen.
Speaking of that, so let's talk about that because that's
Where does it come from?
it's a biting issue right now. So, the thing where some people believe that what artists do is just easy and quick. So, for example, hey Anton, you're an artist, right?
Yep.
I saw your art about what character was that? Let's say the Cheetah fan
Oh,
art
yeah, okay.
from Grand Blue
Yeah.
Fantasy. It was really good. Hey, can you draw me like that? Sorry, but I need that tomorrow.
Especially for someone like me who draws very slow, that's probably not possible.
Not possible, but you're so good. I think you can do it. Like,
I hate
yeah,
it so much.
like sayang, dude, if you're not able to make my art, I could have given you a shout out. Like I have like
Yeah, on your
3,000
on your
followers.
podcast. Yeah, on your podcast.
Sige na, please.
How much are you gonna? How are you gonna compensate me?
Yun nga, shout out. If influencer kasi ako, so you get more followers and fans. Maybe they
They'll
get
pay
paid.
you
Yeah.
instead of me.
Oh yeah.
No, this is a partnership.
That sounds like a really good deal to me.
All right, so that's basically
that's not the
That's our acting
partnership.
skills on
that's basically the issue.
We're great actors.
Acting? No, I was serious. You're
As
making
good
it
as our
funny, right?
singing.
Yeah, of course.
So not only are we an academic group, we're also an acting
Yeah.
group.
Okay, so
We're multi-talented.
anyone have thoughts on that?
If it's so easy, why don't you do it yourself?
Oh my god.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the default reply to that.
Because what seems easy to you might be different from the artist. Because the artist is already, they learned how to do that already. So of course it's easy to them.
I mean, even for
It's not
artists,
easy for
even
them.
then it's not easy. They're more used to it, I guess, or they have the skills. But the thing is, just like any skill out there, it takes time to learn.
Yeah.
Doing anything, you might think, running is not hard. It is. That's why people devote their lives to it. So drawing is just one of those things. So
And,
Okay, so in this,
sorry. And just because it's easy doesn't mean it's not hard work.
or it doesn't take a lot of time.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot. It takes a lot of time and effort to make something. Even though you see it as easy, there's a lot of things that goes into art.
okay, so in this panel, I think we have some artists as well.
Yeah, what, 3?
Three. I myself draw. Anton draws. I know he draws. And then we have Hans. So let's ask ourselves.
Let's ask ourselves. Yes,
Let's reflect. Starting from Anton. So, how long does it take for you to make a work of art?
Oh, I'm pretty slow, and depends on what I'm drawing. Things unlike you, Stephen. I don't draw anime. I draw realism because I want to draw anime. It's just more like I was always told you have to learn realism before you can draw caricature. So I never really got to that point. So I just draw realism, and that takes a lot longer because of mostly the shading. Drawing the line art, maybe that would take an hour and a half. Usually I draw portraits. That's what I mostly draw. Portraits or like still lifes and stuff. So I'd expect it takes me about maybe 5 to 7 hours to make something that's complete.
Traditional or digital?
Traditional.
Traditional.
That's a pretty lot of time.
Oh yeah, but I'm slow. Like honestly, I'm pretty slow. I'm sure other people can definitely do it faster than me, but me, I'm just naturally slow, and I happen to do stuff that requires a lot of detail, so it takes even longer than normal.
So with also balancing schoolwork.
Oh well, when I was
Yeah.
doing all this, I wasn't in school, so when
Well,
I'm in school, I don't draw. That's the
How about you, Steve?
Only be
Okay, so in my case, I'm actually former PubCom publicity committee. I draw as a hobby, and I have drawn art for PubMats for AME. And in my case, that's digital art. And my drawings, especially if I wanted to look good, because this is going out to the people, it's gonna be on social media. So it could easily take me like my entire weekend worth. That's including lots of revisions, some comments from fellow committee members. So yeah, definitely art takes a long time and it's very stressful, especially if you can't get this one line correct or like this coloring.
Control Z.
Control
Control
Z.
Z,
Sometimes Control Z won't
Control
save
Z.
everything because you still have to draw it. Control Z just gets you back to your mistake.
Don't forget flipping.
Oh yeah, when you flip the art, yeah. Oh no, it's not symmetrical. Whoops. So yeah, definitely I can understand making art isn't so easy as people make it out to be. And I think that those who think that it's too easy, well, yeah, that's why the default reply is why not try it out yourself? Oh, suddenly you can draw. How about you, Hans? How long does your art take?
Because for me, it depends on the technique that I'm using.
Mm-hmm.
If it's blending, it takes a really long time. And that's why I personally prefer this technique called, I think it's called cell shading.
Okay.
It's where it's basically blocks of.
So it's digital.
Yeah. I mostly do digital when it's colored because paint is so expensive.
Oh yeah.
That's basically it. Paint is expensive.
How much are we
Colored
talking
pencils.
about here? So just for the
Thousands plus.
Oh yeah, paint is very expensive.
Because each tube costs like 200, 300. Like, oh!
Is this oil?
Not just oil.
Oil,
it's
acrylic.
Acrylic?
Even acrylic.
And
But
then
the thing
you-
is, I mean, you can use the
Colors.
basics like blue, red, yellow, then white, black. But you know,
You have to
hard
have
to
so
mix
much
it.
color.
It's hard to mix.
I mean, it's one thing. It's hard to mix, and there are so many options. You want to check
Yeah.
everything.
Painting is quite costly. More costly. Buying a pencil is a lot cheaper than buying an entire.
I took acrylic painting and oil painting classes before, and each piece took about a week to finish, with about 5 hours every day for class.
And how much did you spend just to finish one painting? I would say
Oh my God.
we speak not of that.
At least like the prices of paintings.
The
also
prices of the paint, for acrylic, I think it was around 200 each bottle, and we had like red, blue, yellow, and then
Like the
black,
big bottle.
black, and then white. So yeah,
Those
the
are small
acrylic.
bottles.
Yeah.
acrylic one, and this is the Sakura one, so it's the kind of cheaper one. It's not the ones that you find in National Bookstore with in the shelf cabinets.
Okay.
And then that's still different from the canvas, and it's still
Oh
different
yeah, the
from the
canvas
paint
is.
brushes.
Canvas is.
So, and then again, there are the varying prices for paint brushes. But my experience generally, acrylic is cheaper than oil painting. Because for oil painting, not only is the oil paint itself very expensive, there's also the turpentine,
Yeah.
which you basically use as water for oil. So that's also expensive.
Yeah. So you
So,
imagine like instead of water, you use like this certain fluid, yeah, turpentine thing. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, you basically have to dip your instead of water, you're using that instead. So
I remember posting my works online, and a lot of people were impressed about it because
Yeah,
it
it's
was a realist painting. And then I had a friend send me a message and be like, "Oh, your painting was realized." My mom's asking how much it was, and then I gave the very minimum price, which was actually way lower than what my professor said our prices should be. And then my friend still said it was still too expensive for them. So
Are they still your friend?
well, it's not my friend; it's my
Yeah,
friend's
you just
mom.
bought it.
So
Oh.
it's my friend's mom. So if it's the older generation, it kind of like just nods away. Okay.
Well, I wouldn't say it's just the older generation. I would say it's basically anyone that hasn't understood what you went through just to make that single thing.
Well, I do know that there are people who understand it, but I guess rather than mad, it just makes me, a bit. It's just saddening that people, because alright, they don't know how much effort, but what's even more sad is that they don't try to understand why.
Like most
the
people
effort.
just like art, but they do not understand.
Yeah,
They
they
don't
just kind of
understand
downplay
the
it.
process that goes into art.
It's just pretty.
It is, but also it's hard
Pretty,
pretty
and
hard.
then like
to do this.
your peso is a vote towards whatever art you want to purchase, and if they
If you like it
value
so
it
much.
really low,
And you don't really have to even buy it, just sharing it.
Share the
Yeah,
artist
it's the
page.
usual-
Share.
Yeah, if you can't afford it, because you're a student or you can't really pay for the art you like, then help the artist reach an audience that can and will support them.
alright, let's talk about that then. So it seems like the biggest counter towards ignorance or towards valuing art is to generate or create a community that would support artists, or like artists among artists and artists and their supporters and followers. You guys have any like scenario or like actual case?
Is this another
na-
skit?
Cue skit.
Cue skit. Okay, so let's say Anton made art.
Yeah. Okay. I'm making more art again.
Okay, Anton made art. Oh, is that your artwork, Anton?
Oh yeah, dude.
Wow, it's so amazing.
Oh, really? Thanks.
Did you just touch it?
Yeah. Did you? How long did it take you to make this one?
This one, if I take, I've been working on it for like a few weeks, on and off every day. I'd say maybe about like 10 hours, maybe.
10 hours. Okay. I love it. Like,
Oh, really?
it's really amazing. Have you shown other people this?
Oh yeah, I
art?
posted it on like Facebook and Twitter and stuff.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me add you here. Okay. What's your name?
Anton.
Okay. I added. Oh, I see your artwork here. Let me give it a heart react.
What's your name?
There we go. I'm gonna share this to my friends. I
Oh,
really hope
yeah.
they see your art. It's
Uh,
really amazing. You should pat yourself. I'll pat you on the back.
My Facebook's like privated, so.
Oh, pa-public po, sir.
This is such a positive skit. It's
Yeah.
what you want to happen in the community.
Okay, let's say
Yeah, we're
Ivy's an
giving an
artist.
example.
Yeah, let's say Ivy's an artist and you see his art.
Oh, look at this art. Let me repost it.
Two kinds of
Two kinds of.
Alright, guys, so that's what a real influencer should be like.
Oh my god.
Right? Like, that's how you give a shout out without any conditions attached to like purchasing the art.
Sharing, I guess with what companies sharing it is people who, the usual posters that want to just get likes from their pages.
Yeah.
So they see a pretty art and just post it, and then credits to the artist. But who made it?
CTTO.
CTTO.
Credits to the owner.
Oh, so
Yeah,
that's
so
how that.
yeah.
Yes, that's
I
their
didn't even know what
that's
that
their
is.
lazy way to give
Yeah,
credit.
credit.
It's like citing a source. Like imagine you wrote a paper and you use your journal article. Credit to the author.
That-
If
I'm not
that
gonna say
happened in UP, you would be
You would, you would be.
Basically,
Good guy.
I don't think that kind of crediting practice should be supported. Kasi nga, credits to the
It helps no one but yourself.
Yourself.
Kasi if someone wants to
Just-
find out who drew
it
this,
only protects
it's others.
yourself.
You gotta respect the art. If you're gonna repost it, at least link back to the original source.
That's like least.
It's the least you can do.
And people also
Very
least they cut the watermarks and the artworks.
Yeah, I think that's
They
one of the
Photoshop
big
it.
issues. So,
And
That's the worst one because there was intent to steal.
you can't even just say, I'm so excited to share it.
Exactly.
But no one's like, I'm gonna specifically remove the watermark.
If you remove it,
But you know, I learned it in my media law class. You can get sued for that.
Oh yeah, you can definitely see
Yeah.
it. That's
You can
like you're
get
basically
sued.
taking it.
Yeah,
but
but
in reality, how many people would be willing?
Yeah, are you gonna spend money to like go to
you
court?
have to hire a lawyer.
Do
Yeah,
you,
that's a lot.
do any of you know any close friends or mga kakilala nyo na nakawan ng art?
Yes.
And then, like, what was their reaction to that?
Like, I have a friend, I think kalala niyo din, si Hannah Talks.
Yeah.
She drew a painting of, what's her name? Catriona Gray after she won Miss Universe. And then later on, she found out that somebody posted it in an artist group. And what they did is, they photoshopped out her watermark. And they photoshopped some of the details from the art itself. Like, they removed the glitters, they used the blur tool to
Edit,
basically they just edited and then they put their own
It's
watermark.
paraphrasing.
Yeah.
When they're paraphrasing an
Paraphrasing.
artwork. Did they sell it? Did they sell it?
didn't sell it. They just
They just-
posted in the group.
They claimed it
took
as their
credit
own.
for it.
Yeah, and like so what Hannah did, she posted it on her Facebook page. And if you know Hannah Talks, she has a really large following.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were reacting in support of her. They were asking, what's this group's name? Can I report it for you? Can I join the group to talk to the admin to kick the person out? So yeah, a lot of people were supporting her when her art got stolen.
But some of the
That's not the only time though. I remember her making this haiku painting of Hinata like hitting the volleyball, and it got turned into a cell phone case.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
like
Okay,
there's this
so-
Chinese company that's notorious for doing that. They just take fan art and turn it into
art-
stuff.
art
turn
to
it into
product.
shirts and
Thanks,
cell
China.
phone cases and stuff like that.
Thank you, China.
Well, China is notorious for just copyright infringement in all cases.
China's notorious for stealing, not just art.
We're just mad at the people who steal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
peace China.
Peace, China.
Disclaimer, we are a non-political,
We love you.
non-sectorial organization
We're not fighting you. We're only fighting people who do copyright
Yeah.
infringement. I'm sorry.
who just happens to be Chinese. We're sorry.
I'm Chinese.
Steph, go.
I'm a spy. This.
You're smart. Okay.
So yeah, so
It's
in
very
yeah,
actually, yeah.
it's,
But
it's-
some, I guess with that, the community itself tried, but sometimes that's really not enough because the effects of doing that already has happened. So sometimes person already had more followers. People believe actually that he or her was the original painter.
There are some sad cases nga na because people stole too much of her art,
They
of
just
their
give up.
art, they just
They
give
feel
up,
that.
they stop.
Yeah,
That's the whole thing of
That's so
really
sad.
bad.
Like, that's-
I think I was able to read a post about that in an artist group that I'm part of. That, like about around 10 years ago, she had a really bad case when her art got stolen, and then she stopped posting. She stopped making art. So
Oh.
imagine that, guys! You're stealing an artist's hope, her passion. How dare you? And
It's like stealing
Respect,
somebody's
friends.
kid. Those.
Oh my god.
it's true.
Yeah, I guess.
Or
So you
stealing
like,
someone's thesis project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
whoa there.
Whoa.
May mga graduating
Well,
dito.
as graduating student.
You can't relate.
But it's a thing. It's still a work that you. It's still a thing that you worked hard for.
Yeah, poured your
So
soul
you
into.
can use it as.
Stealing your boyfriend.
But, well,
Just to steal your art. Yeah, so do you have any solutions or ways to prevent this? Because if I was I was the despicable art stealer guy.
Despicable art stealer guy.
Mr. Despicable Art Stealer guy, and I stole
change?
Anton's art.
Oh,
Yeah, I
no.
pretended to be his friend
Anton's art
actually.
is so big.
And then, I got close to him and I borrowed some
What a
files.
manipulator you are.
Oh my god, may plan.
I'm Mr. Despicable Steal Your
There's
Art.
background
Oh yeah,
story.
can you send me like the non-Facebook?
Yeah.
I don't want download from Facebook. I want high resolution version.
Yeah, and then we're friends, right? You give it to me, and then I edited it, and then put it as my own. Anton, let's say he has a like medium following, so I got called out, but then, hell man, I got like 10k likes and like several shares for this one. The next time I steal someone's art, I just have to not get caught, right? Like what's the biggest punishment for being called out online?
If you get
Basically being shamed.
Yeah,
that's
and then-
actually the more the usual.
unless the person like sues you.
yeah.
Which I doubt
I
It's very
highly
hard.
doubt.
any like small like independent artist isn't gonna do that.
Especially in our
Because
case,
for one thing, lawyers cost money.
Yeah, and like what do you stand to gain? Like, I don't know. I'm not familiar with law, but like, I don't know how much money you could actually get from a case like this.
From experience, when that happens, when you get shamed for stealing someone's art, it follows you around your other posts. Like, yun nga, I remember the FB post that started this entire topic. Somebody posted something about not wanting to pay for art, and then she later on deleted that post. But the thing is, her profile is public. So after she deleted her post, any other post she made, there were still people commenting about what she did na delete na. As people keep receipts, they keep screenshots. So
Yeah.
what you did it's never gone because social media, guys.
No, but also it's so easy to change profiles in social media. So if
Yeah.
you get caught another account, why not just make
And at the
another
same
one?
time, that's just like, keeping a criminal in prison.
Criminal record?
Did they get reformed? Does this help the community?
I mean, it's not even really like putting them in
Is-
prison because
yeah.
they're still free.
Yeah.
Is hounding the thief
for
the solution?
The solution is like knowing it's bad. People
it's-
are supposed to know it's not.
And yeah, it has to be like a
That's
culture.
Education is the
I'm an
solution.
idealist, and this is what is means.
Actually, another artist I know, Cinnamon Rob, that's her philosophy when it comes to people still stealing their art. What she does is she doesn't get angry. She just calmly messages that person, talks about how stealing art is bad. And then actually some people are actually receptive of her idea. They want to be educated and they stop. Pero yun nga, it's still a small, it
Yeah.
depends on
Depends on the person.
and depends on the person and their conscience.
Yeah.
Some people will learn, some people will not.
Some people, yes, I think it actually is okay because the people around them does it as well. So it's really depending on how much you are aware of what the side of the artist.
So you have to change the culture.
Yeah,
you have to change the
basically, yeah,
culture.
like,
That's
I
not your solution.
It's kind of like in Reddit, like if someone puts a piece of art on and you don't credit it, people will usually call you out on it.
Yeah. Cozy.
Because
Some calmly, some
Give
not,
the sauce OP.
not so
Yeah.
calmly.
The good thing is we already have a community of people who are already aware that it's a
Yeah.
problem. So yeah, people are. I don't want to say fighting back because it's not a fight, but yeah, that's what's happening.
Like-
There's a
No, at least
Propagate
these
the culture.
people are being called out.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that's the first step that anyone
If
can
they, well, some call out culture is still a bit wavy, but at least
something's happening.
If you don't want to be called out, don't do it. You won't do
Yeah.
it. You don't want to, you won't do it.
It's like as long as people know, it's not. If
If
something
you do
happens-
this is what happens.
if you do something like
This is like
Like-
this is too much. Is this like laws now? Don't do crime because this is what happens to you.
if buying stops,
Yeah,
the
you
killing
know.
can too.
Appreciating art and respecting the artist is good civilization.
Yeah.
The best civilization.
Unfortunately, I think some people just honestly want a lot of are greedy for online currencies.
Yeah.
Online cloud.
They don't
Online
realize that
EP.
we all say that those likes and shares don't matter, like love yourself and stuff. But the thing is, unfortunately, they kind of do matter when you want to get yourself established. They do have
As
some
an
sort of
artist,
like social currency.
Yeah.
Called like social
Yes,
currency.
that's nice. I
So-
use that. Right? Social curves.
It's a
Number of
sharp
likes,
thinking.
number of retweets.
So, let's go back to let's talk about commissions again. Is there anything else we missed about this issue or anything?
Wait, why do people commission?
Oh, obviously because they want art.
Yeah, they want art.
Yeah.
Like they see good art. I buy good art.
I want that artist style for this
Yeah,
character.
usually styles.
Yeah, usually that's
you
what
pick an artist depending on their art style. If you like it, commission.
Is it comparable to a person hiring someone to make a song for them?
Yeah, I
Yes.
think yeah.
I mean, you're basically hiring someone to do a piece of art for you.
So making art of characters that are already exist, that would be like, oh, can you make an arrange? Can you make a jazz arrange for me for this song like that?
See how talented we are.
Acting, acapella, music.
I could come as multi-talented, by the way.
Like my cousin, for example, she plays a lot of D&D, and she would ask, she go to a con, and then she asked this artist to draw her character. for her.
Character, yeah, that's a usual thing in character creation.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
ask an artist to draw your
If you
character.
can't do it yourself, ask an artist.
Yeah, it's great.
So yeah, that's the whole point of art commissions. I mean, you're basically hiring someone because you don't know how to draw art.
Or
if
you
you
like
want-
their
or
style.
Or
They-
you want their style.
Yeah, or
Or
you want
I
their
also
style.
do commissions.
Okay, fine. Yeah, so because you want someone else specifically to draw the art for you. Yeah.
You give what is due.
Yeah.
Yes.
You are asking them to share their skills to you.
It's basically a service,
Yes.
You pay for their service, and then you get a product in return.
Alright.
Amazing.
We like to
We basically exhausted the topic on commissions. Let's see. Let's try focusing on anime, I guess. More on that. Like, ano ba yung sa anime industry in terms of animation? What's the artist version of like in the anime industry? I think
Dojins.
Dojins.
Isn't it manga?
Well, dojins aren't really commissions because you don't ask someone to make them; they make it
People
themselves.
make them out of love.
Yeah.
Friendship.
Friendship.
Not necessarily friendship.
Not
Sometimes
necessarily
just to make
friendship.
it more natin.
Sometimes you just feel so much feels that you're compelled to tell that story in another
Yes.
way. You can't help it. You have to put it out. As
Sometimes
the
just
person,
go for it.
well, I haven't made any like fan comic, but I do make comics. And if someone makes a comic of an anime, it just really means that they care for it because comics take so much time, not just a week.
Yeah.
They can take months to imagine that.
Well, they're not commission art, but aren't there also like news about underpaid artists in the anime
You
industry?
mean animators?
Anime.
They're all
I think it's a very
underpaid.
well-known, well-known issue.
Yeah.
Looking at A1.
So then we go back to that whole thing about
Actually-
art being underappreciated. You can
Let's
just see.
talk about underpaid animators. Kasi I think,
Sige.
personally, I think they're underpaid because the studio doesn't get enough support from their fans. Because yun nga, they post official art instead of Instead of purchasing official merch from that animation studio. So like, it's a really big, it's industry-wide yung ano na to.
Actually, sometimes you're torn between buying the unofficial merch and like
The
fan
official.
art merch. Yeah, I don't know what should I buy? Boss.
Relatively, fan art merch is cheaper than the
Yeah.
official
Exactly.
merch. But the thing is, official merch supports the series you're into. So,
Yun nga. Okay, so ACADCOM naman. Let's go like academic on this one.
Well,
yeah,
the
remember.
way I see it, it's like if you're choosing to buy fan art, unofficial merchandise over the official merchandise, that's because that the unofficial merchandise, well, it's either that it's cheaper or that it's of a quality
or
that
more readily
That's true.
available.
Some of the fan arts are better looking
Yes.
sometimes.
So why would I buy the official art when I can get this for cheaper and it's something that's more akin to what I want?
and sometimes official arts kasi they just took the official photo
Yeah.
of the character and they paste it over a lot
There,
of
there are merch that are just screenshots of the anime. They just
Oh,
turn
like
it
those
into merch.
photo
Yeah,
paper.
I don't know. So why would I buy this? I don't want to buy this.
Like, why don't you give me like Jenga art or something?
anime industries. You should hire fan artists to do your fan
But
art for you.
Actually,
Pero wait,
it's
sige.
it's gonna be a good partnership.
Like consider bakit nga ba underpaid yung mga animators natin, mga artists natin sa
I think
industry.
they're underappreciated.
Exactly.
I don't think
remember we
they're
talked about like how it's the culture that has to change in order to make the artists
Is it
more
because
I think
that art
it's
is still being
more-
looked down on?
For example, when an anime episode comes out in Japan, fans release it faster than the official release.
fan subs.
Yeah.
Fan
Yeah.
subs.
They're more hardworking. I don't know. But the thing is, and fans want it almost immediately. And the thing is, not all of the, for example, the anime or the series you're watching is available in the official sites. So to like watch something, sometimes you have no choice but to resort to like pirated sites. So that's another thing.
Yun nga. Well, apparently, like overseas anime fans have made response to that. Yung parang bakit sa Japan lang raw, you hear Japanese, I can't understand Japanese. So like for example, like we have like Crunchyroll, for example. Crunchyroll sometimes releases the same simulcasting.
Yeah.
It's either dubbed already or may subs na siya.
There's even some simulcasts there already though.
Yeah.
Like and I know Space Dandy was out dubbed before it was out subbed. Or out in Japanese. It came out in English first, which is pretty amazing. But I know there's I think like Hulu or maybe like Funimation. I think they released some simulcasts for some anime, dubbed already. So that means they must have gotten it pretty early. They must have gotten it before it even aired. So
Yeah.
And then, so like this Crunchyroll, some people would argue na, well, they claim that they're giving back to the anime industry by subscribing to them or like using their services. But there are also some people like debating on that na, is it really giving back to the artist? Ano ba yung situation ng mga animators natin sa animator industry? Because, for example, like,
Next week, our guest is
Yeah.
someone from Crunchyroll.
well, no, just kidding. We're not that popular.
wait, when you think about it, right? So let's say you have a trickle down of the funds. So if the funds, if you get, let's say, okay, you release a show in another country, and let's assume that the ones licensing it don't get all the money from it. So you have some kind of royalties or something that the original creators get. But why would that go to the people in the lower rung of the chain? You'd think who would be getting it? It would be the big companies who are involved in the production, not the directors or the animators. It would probably be like, okay, the people who sponsored the creation of the show to begin with, like who's the one? What are they called?
What are you referring to?
Like what's a company? Who's the one who like does Kantai collection?
Basta somebody.
DMM Games,
No,
Games,
or like-
Kadokawa.
Yeah, Kalakawa. Like
Oh, yeah,
Kalakawa.
Kalakawa.
You know, like so Kalakawa was the one who
Kalakawa.
helped fund the show, or like one of the shareholders of the show. So when the money comes in, probably it's gonna go to them, not the people who
And
actually
remember,
work on the
guys,
show.
so if you're aware of like how economics works, these companies, they want to lower the cost, and they lower the cost of labor by hiring less and more minimum wage workers.
Not contractual. They just,
Yes, they're very contractual. It's
They're very
like in
contractual.
Japan, these animators, they don't usually get permanent contract, or they
Yeah,
don't
they
get
freelance.
tenures.
For a project.
They freelance, and you think that's such a cool term, but no, it's not.
No, it's not.
It just means that you're not sure if your employment is
constant.
perm. Yeah,
Yeah. So
and
you get
yeah,
project
so
by project.
it
Your
becomes even more like this issue gets even more aggravated because suddenly these companies would try outsourcing their
Oh,
animators.
yes, outsourcing.
And again, you think, okay, this is amazing. We're globalizing anime, but no, you're making the animators in Japan less worth hiring. Kasi nga mas cheap yung labor overseas because sometimes these overseas animators they're fans of this, so they'll be okay. I'll volunteer. They're volunteer. They're gonna volunteer to anime. Case in point, Review Starlight. Like people would be very happy. This guy on this animator on Twitter like chipped in producing this key animation in Review Starlight. It's amazing. And then at the same time, you'd look at one of the Japanese animators, and they're probably like in the corner, like, oh, that could have been me, but I need money.
I was considering, is there a surplus of animators in Japan? Are there?
No, there's too little
There's too
animators.
So it's not.
Kasi nga, hindi siya, it's not a job you want.
It's not a desirable
Yeah.
job. And the thing is, I remember hearing a statistic, not sure if it's confirmed, but I think it was like over 50% of people that entered the anime industry after their first year exited because they can't handle the intense workload and the awful wages. So it's really like, imagine you're an anime fan, you're like, oh, I want to make anime. I used to be in that stage on, and then you realize, oh wait, making anime is really
Difficult.
It's a lot. The conditions are not good. So especially if you're not one of the higher, if you're just an animator, you're like at the bottom. I remember like in Shirobako, they had that chart of the wages of all of the different positions, and the bottom one is animator, which is weird. You think the animator would earn more than the than like a PA or something, but
They don't. It doesn't stop. The grind never stops.
yeah, the grind never stops. It's like you're in a gacha game, and you just call like, I'm done with my cut for this show. I gotta work on my cut for this other show. I have to, since the pay is so low, since I'm a freelancer, I have to work so many different shows at the same time. I'm gonna have like 6 different projects at once.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, art in general is not a. Usually, art jobs are kind of. They're difficult.
I think that's the same for the artist community as well.
I think even in
What's
other
that?
countries, I think animators. I've heard that the conditions of animators in other like the US and stuff. Even it's not great for them either.
Even here.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
All right, so let's wrap up this issue by leading our listeners to know more about this topic. So
Appreciate your artists.
yeah,
They work so
for the first
hard.
first topic on commissioners. Appreciate your artists.
Educate
understand-
yourself.
Yeah. Educate
others.
Discipline yourself.
Educate other fans.
Support and
Always
love your
cite your
artists.
sources.
Cite your sources.
And
APA.
And then
Respect
for
the
for the second issue on underpaid animators and labor in general.
As much as possible, try to support
This
the
one,
animation.
this topic in general, you can actually, if you're a student or a willing researcher, you can research more on how the economy runs in Japan, how companies in general, not just animators, treat their workers, and how they run their companies in general. So look at how look at maybe issues on karoshi or overwork in Japan. Look at how maybe find other supports for laborers or workers in Japan.
Look at how some of the animation studios closed down due to bankruptcy.
Yeah. Educate yourselves on this. Not all the if you complain about quality in anime, maybe there's a reason behind that.
Yeah.
Ayun. So most of these ideas I got them from I think she's a YouTuber. I'll have to credit her for these ideas.
Oh no, you don't have to. You don't have to
Oh my
credit people.
God!
We talked about this,
We just
Mr.
talked about this.
I'm Mr. Despicable
No, just
Artist
he's
Stealer.
Mr. Despicable Stealer guy. So he can take whatever he wants.
I'm a changed person now, so let's give
Shout
credit.
out!
Credit, yeah.
Shout out!
Throughout this podcast, Despicable Artists created the change of the character.
Someone is very knowledgeable in this one. Her name is, on her Twitter handle is Raycan or Critical Raycan. We'll link in the description later in the podcast video. She goes by Armita Ventura or at Critical Raycan. She also has a YouTube link. We'll link that later as well. She talks about how Japan's monetary policies and basically business in general affects the anime industry. Learn more about
Talks a lot
that.
about
And
unions, reason
how
why
we
don't
should look for
unionize.
other ways to support the artists and animators in general, the anime community. ACADCOM.
Actually, one of the things she
Yes.
mentioned that I was very I like the idea of the idea of a worker cooperative.
We'll talk about that next time.
We can talk about that more in depth in the next issue. Next, we promise to give Hansel her own
Plug.
So hi guys, I'm Hans, but I call myself Hansel on my hi. Yeah, I have multiple identities across multiple.
Multiple identity disorder?
Not the disorder, I hope.
Firstly, I just want to say for people, if you can Google your favorite fan artists, I'm pretty sure you can still Google about these topics. There's honestly no excuse anymore for not knowing about this because internet is everywhere and these things are very accessible right now.
But still check your source. Not
Yes,
everything on Google
please,
is right.
yeah. Please check your sources,
Yeah.
double check. Do your homework basically. And
Be responsible consumers.
yes, be responsible consumers and please,
Support.
please, I believe in you guys. I believe in the best in people. I want to believe that, people don't just steal for nothing. So,
Plug your artist page.
My artist page on Facebook is just at just Hansel 117. I mostly do comics though, so can I plug an event?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's Comic At next weekend. It's a wonderful community and place for you to check other artworks, drop by and see how the community is prospering. For Instagram, just check just Hansel117_art. I don't post much, sorry. I'm working on my thesis right now.
Good luck
I
with
Good luck
believe
on
in
your
the-
thesis.
Support artists and their work.
Yes,
And
support
their
students
thesis.
and their
Support
work
their
and their
thesis.
thesis.
And their orgs.
And
And
their
their
art.
art. Support UP AME.
So,
Alright, so
UP AME.
okay, speaking of UP AME, Moe has something to say.
Oh, I thought we were just gonna plug UP AME.
Oh, we're gonna okay. You do that.
Okay, so if you like what we talk about today, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Leave a like if you like the
Smash the
podcast.
bell. Smash the bell.
Smash that like button.
Ring that
Subscribe.
notification bell.
Subscribe if you want to hear more about the topics we talk about.
If you'd like to know more about
hit
our
that
events,
notification bell to be
check out
updated.
our Facebook page and our Twitter.
Yeah.
What's our Facebook page?
University of the Philippines Anime and
Manga
Manga Enthusiast, Twitter, UP_AME. Thank you.
You can also check
Yeah.
Anime
Thank you for
Chan's
doing that.
page.
We have Anime Chance page. We have
Oh.
4 commas.
Yeah, we
Check
have this,
also check out our SoundCloud in the description below. What else?
Not that we can post on it because, you know.
Taybang.
Play band watch anime.
Listen to Hypnosis Marker.
Yeah, this has been AME After
Stand by
Hours.
Trigger Crew.
I have been
Your
Steven.
Manga, Eric,
Panan.
Anton.
Poet.
You should call yourself.
And see you next podcast.
Yay!
Bye.
Three, two, one, clap.
I don't have to clap.
I just wanted to.